I'm by no means the world's biggest soccer fan, but I absolutely do love watching soccer interviews. Probably because they're one of the most unintentionally hilarious forms of entertainment out there.
After the final whistle, you and the whole teammates, you were going to the south stand, the famous yellow wall, which was empty today, of course. Why did you do that?
Why not?
Is it a kind of message you want to send out?
Yes,
Would you tell us a message?
to my fans. To
They're
our
very-
fans.
They're everything for you and for Borussia Dortmund.
It is.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure.
Not only that, but as someone who enjoys learning languages, I'm always fascinated by the quantity of languages the world's top players and managers speak. A few years back, for example, soccer news site Goal.com posted a video of Spanish football manager Pep Guardiola speaking in the wrong language during an interview.
Es el resultado, influye poco. Influye poco porque si piensas que tienes que reservar un resultado... Uy, in Dutch.
This video went viral with 7 million views and counting. As of filming, it's the third most popular video on the entire channel. However, upon further investigation, Pep's interview is not the only language-themed video to go viral on Goal's channel. Videos of Jurgen Klopp refusing to speak English in Germany, Carlo Ancelotti showing off his language skills, and translators drawing special attention to themselves all rank similarly among the most popular videos on the channel. This weekend, I watched Take the Ball, Pass the Ball, a documentary about FC Barcelona's tremendous success under Pep Guardiola's leadership. Not only was it, next to Senna, one of my favorite sports documentaries of all time, but it also reminded me of this intersection between languages and soccer. I probably counted at least 4 languages being spoken during the documentary, including English, Spanish, Italian, and Catalan, many of them by the same people. So why are there so many polyglots in soccer? A big part of the answer has to do with how international the sport is. Soccer is by far the world's most popular sport, with some estimates of the number of fans reaching 3.5 billion, nearly half of the world's population. Every 4 years, 200 countries try out for the World Cup, and in 2018, FIFA reported that 1.1 billion people tuned in to watch France and Croatia play in the final match. Cricket, the world's second most popular sport, has 2.5 billion fans, but much less linguistic diversity than soccer. This is because its viewership is mostly limited to the UK, South Asia, and a handful of other former British colonies. Here in America, most professional athletes are American, and sports are mostly a national phenomenon, with the exception of a handful of Canadian-based teams in the NFL International Series. In Europe, on the other hand, teams are becoming increasingly international and linguistically diverse. This is in part due to increased migration to Europe over the past few years, but also due to changes in EU law itself. The 1995 Bosman ruling, for example, banned restrictions on foreign EU players within national teams, and allowed players in the EU to freely move to another club at the end of their contracts without having to pay a transfer fee. Some leagues themselves, such as Italy's Serie A and Spain's La Liga, place limits on the number of non-EU players a team may have. However, just by examining individual team rosters, we can see that the scale still remains tipped in favor of more national and linguistic diversity. AS Roma's 33 players represent 13 plus native languages. At Newcastle United, the Premier League's most diverse club, 10 native languages are represented. And the Bundesliga's Hoffenheim boasts an incredible 17 native languages among the club's 34 players. This trend repeats itself in North America, where Major League Soccer is the most diverse professional sporting league, with 73 countries of birth represented. During the 2018 World Cup, only 9 teams had more than 50% of their players playing at domestic clubs. Furthermore, 3 national teams had all of their players playing at clubs abroad. While you would expect such a significant level of diversity to have a negative impact on team performance due to factors such as language barriers, some studies have actually found the opposite to be true. One study established a positive correlation between the size of the goal differential and the number of primary languages spoken among UEFA teams. A similar study of the NBA, however, found that too much diversity can actually produce a negative effect due to geographical differences in playing style. In baseball, studies have shown diversity to have little correlation with team performance due to baseball's low interdependence. This implies that the effects of national and linguistic diversity on performance vary from sport to sport, and soccer is most likely one of the sports whose teams benefit the most from being more diverse. In any case, Soccer clubs operate in environments of extreme linguistic diversity, unmatched by any other sport. On the most basic level, elite players manage this by becoming experts at reading the nonverbal clues from their teammates and opponents. Italian author and director Pier Paolo Pasolini, who himself is a soccer player, went as far as to describe the sport as its own language. Referees overcome language barriers by relying on hand signals to communicate. In fact, FIFA began using their famous red and yellow cards in 1970 after miscommunication between speakers of different languages at the 1966 World Cup. At the organizational level, FIFA lists 4 official languages for their publications, including English, Spanish, French, and German. However, at the club level, most teams will speak their local language as much as possible. Many clubs employ translators as part of their regular staff and communicate in multiple languages if necessary. But oftentimes, more experienced players will mentor new recruits and act as mediators for them while they're attempting to learn the local language. Language instruction has become an integral part of the training at top clubs and youth programs. Pep Guardiola, for example, took weeks of intensive German lessons before becoming coach of FC Bayern. Additionally, former Liverpool language coach Alan Redmond has stated that the most dedicated soccer players have the strongest desire to learn. Those who don't prioritize language learning simply don't last long at a club. Simply put, language learning is a necessity in the fast-paced, multicultural environment of soccer. Usually, only a select few high-profile players can stay in a club for an extended period of time without learning the local language, as was the case with David Beckham after his 4 years in Madrid.
Pero muchísimas gracias, it's been un honor, un pleasure, y muchísimas gracias y adiós. Y lo siento para español, pero estoy tímido pero no es mal, ¿eh?
Because of the importance of foreign languages in soccer, it's no wonder that the sport has so many polyglots. Of course, polyglotism is not exclusive to soccer. Kobe Bryant, for example, was fluent in Italian and Spanish, while tennis champion Novak Djokovic speaks 11 languages. However, there's a particularly high concentration of polyglots among soccer's most elite group of players. A few years back, a document showing all the languages AS Roma players felt comfortable giving interviews in circulated around on the internet. Nearly all of them had at least a few languages listed next to their names. And we have to remember too that this document only shows the languages that these players are comfortable giving interviews in, meaning that it's likely that many of them speak a lot of other languages at lower proficiency levels. Pep Guardiola speaks 5 languages: English, German, Italian, and his native Spanish and Catalan. Swedish striker Zlatan Ibrahimović speaks 6 languages: Swedish, Bosnian, English, Spanish, Italian, and French. Belgian footballer Romelu Lukaku speaks 8 and is quoted as saying, "I'll start a sentence in French and finish it in Dutch and throw in some Spanish, Portuguese, or Lingala, depending on what neighborhood we're in." Other famous polyglots in soccer include Petr Cech and Clarence Seedorf at 5 languages, Jose Mourinho and Felipe Senderos at 6 languages, and Arsène Wenger and Henrique Mkhitaryan at 7 languages. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the video or just want to give me some appreciation for pronouncing all those names, please hit that like button and let me know down in the comments. If you want to stay updated on future videos about travel and languages, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching and see you next time. And Arsène Wenger and Arsène Wenger and Henrique and Arsène Wenger and Lord Jesus and Arsène Wenger. No, either the first or probably the next one. This is not gonna work. These past couple are not working.